Hello, people of YouTube. My name is Steve Gray, and thank you for watching. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, leave a like, and feel free to comment down below what you'd like me to do for future videos. So today we are talking about Season 4, Episode 17 of My Hero Academia. And not a bad episode overall. Kind of gave us what's going to happen for the rest of this season. I was under the impression that it was just one test for their professional licenses. They just had to win these kids over. Bakugo, Shoto, Inasa, and Kami. I thought it was just like a one-shot type deal. No, it's not just a one-shot type deal. They have multiple tests. I thought this was going to be like a few episode arc and boom, professional license. No, they're going to end up having to do a lot more tests than I thought they were going to do. So let's kind of talk about the first half of the episode. Basically what happens is all these kids from the class are using their quirks, trying to defeat and beat all of these possible pro heroes or in the future. And they end up using their quirks to entertain them. Shoto ends up using the kids' quirks basically to create a giant like ice slide type thing. Inasha ends up using his wind power to fly guys to the top of the slide to fly them down. Bakugo has a heart-to-heart with the lead student, basically saying you have to know what your own weaknesses are to improve them, or you're never going to continue to grow. And then Kami uses her ability, which we finally learn is Glamour, which she can temporarily transform into other people and look exactly like them. Similar to Toga's ability, but it's very temporary. Basically, she makes the night sky, makes it look all pretty and beautiful. I guess, is basically just making stuff pretty and beautiful. She transforms into Shoto for a quick minute. And then she uses her ability to win over some of the girls, which I thought was pretty funny. Everybody goes on the slide, and to make a long story short, they get the kids to a point where they have won them over. So now it is passed on to the teacher. And we're kind of seeing what's happening because All Might is now no longer the #1 hero, and we're stuck with Endeavor. Basically, the theory is every generation, kids will get more and more powerful because, as you know, multiple people that have two types of quirk. Shoto is a perfect example of this. His mom had an ice quirk, has a fire quirk. He inherited both quirks, becoming more powerful than either one of them. So that basically the theory is kids are going to become more and more powerful, and that eventually there's going to be a point where they will no longer be able to control their abilities, and the world's going to become pure chaos. I don't think we're ever going to actually get to this point in the show. We might, maybe when Deku becomes the #1 hero, but we do not exactly know what is happening with that so far. But we do know, obviously, the more you train your abilities, the more you harness your quirk, the better and more powerful you become. And obviously, the more useful you become to the people around you in order to help people out, protect citizens, etc. Now, kind of moving on to the second part, we have the laser beam naval guy, if I can remember his name, Yuga Amoya. We are led to believe that he knows that Deku has One for All. In reality, he does not know that he has inherited All for One for All from All Might. He basically just thinks that his quirk doesn't agree with him. What we learn about Amoya is that his quirk, his body is basically incapable of handling his quirk, which kind of goes off of this theory that eventually no one's going to be able to control their quirks anymore, and everybody's just going to be crazy, and their powers are going to be rampant with nobody really to stop them. Kind of like if you're familiar with Clayface and Batman, when he breaks out of the tank, and he isn't asleep all the time, he becomes Clayface, becomes evil, etc. Kind of similar principle to that. So the issue is if he doesn't have that belt on all the time, 24/7, his lasers can leak out. He can injure people, injure things around him, people around him, animals, etc. And if we look at Deku, who'd never had a quirk in the first place, even though some people say he did have a quirk, but we're not going to get into that theory at this moment in time. he noticed that Deku's quirk also hurt his body every time he used it. As Amoya, he gets basically stomach pains every time he uses his. Now, another theory also for Amoya is that he actually doesn't have any abilities, and that reality that this belt that he wears all the time is actually just his power, and that it puts a lot of pressure on his abdomen and giving him the upset stomach, but we don't really know. My theory is that no, he does actually have the quirk. Either that or somehow he managed to get a quirk similar to how Deku got a quirk. So they kind of become friends, kind of hit it off, whatever. My thoughts on it is probably they are going to team up, get to know each other better, know each other's limits, and kind of persuade each other to get better with their abilities. We're learning that they are still kind of going after the secret moves type situation. So they're all training in order to do secret moves. They're all doing tests. Eraserhead is currently working with Eri. Eri is woken up. Her horn is smaller than ever because it's not activated, but she's still in quarantine because they are trying to figure out a way to get her to control her power. So I'm hoping that we get to see Miro get his powers back from Eri possibly in this season. I don't know if it's just going to be this season. It might be further on. I'm not really sure what the manga does with it. But hopefully we get to see Eri master her powers. I know next episode they're going to be putting on some sort of show with their quirks, so they're going to showing off their quirks and abilities, but in beautiful and pretty ways. Kind of how Shoto and the Whirlwind guy, whose name I am forgetting again because I don't have the character sheet in front of me, Inasa, how they used, and Cammy, use their quirks to persuade over the kids. They are going to do this and probably do it with Eri as well, show off her quirks to Eri. Deku's probably going to give her a hug or something, and she's going to be happy and giddy again, and that is delightful because I love Eri. I want to see her at full power and see what she can actually do. I'm hoping that we do get to see her grow up, go to UA or some other, Hero Academy, and get full control over powers, give Miro his powers back, and just overall be a badass woman doing her badass thing. That would be delightful. So those are kind of my thoughts, My Hero Academia. Season 4, Episode 17. Also, if you are interested, China has banned it because apparently in the manga, they named the doctor after some sort of extremely evil person. I don't know the full details, but no more My Hero Academia in China, so I don't know if that's going to be hurting it for the general audience or not. We will just have to wait and see. I know there's a huge Western following, so huge following in Japan, huge following in Europe, so hopefully the rest of the world takes up for the slack that China is now no longer getting My Hero Academia, which sucks very much so. My name is Steve Gray. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a good one.